Chosen ones, believe it or not, someone paid to have a tarot reading on you, and what they heard devastated them to their core. They thought they were ready for answers, but the truth that came through shattered every illusion they were holding on to. The reader spoke of your protection, your elevation, your unstoppable rise. They described doors opening, blessings flowing, and a divine light surrounding you that no one can touch. The moment your name was mentioned, the energy shifted in that room because your spirit is untouchable now. The person who paid for that reading can't stop replaying it. Their fantasy died in real time. They finally realized what the divine already knew. Your story no longer includes them. What devastated this individual most wasn't just that you're doing well, it's that you're thriving specifically because the connection was severed. The mystic explained that the former presence in your life was like a weight around your ankle while you were trying to swim. The moment you cut that weight loose, you shot to the surface. And now you're not just breathing, you're flying. But there's more to this situation. There's always more. And what's about to unfold is going to show you just how deep this really goes. The spiritual reader started talking about something unexpected, a third party. Someone who was operating behind the scenes during your entire relationship. Someone who was feeding lies and twisting information. Someone who used your former partner as a tool to sabotage you. And only now is the realization dawning that manipulation occurred. See, there was someone in the background who never wanted you to succeed. Maybe it was a family member consumed by jealousy. Maybe it was a friend who wanted what you had. Maybe it was an ex who never got over your former partner and saw you as competition. Whoever it was, poison was being whispered the entire time. Seeds of doubt were planted. Conflict was created where there was none. A slow and methodical turning against you was orchestrated, and your former partner fell for it. Manipulation was allowed. Participation in undermining you happened because someone else convinced them you were the problem. Betrayal occurred because outsiders fed a narrative that justified the behavior. The spiritual reader laid all of this out. The web was revealed. How this person was used as a weapon against you became clear. Now the looking around begins, and the realization hits. Those people are gone. Those friends disappeared. Those manipulators moved on to other targets. Those co-conspirators abandoned ship the moment things got difficult. This person is sitting alone with the wreckage of choices made based on lies believed. And the reader said something that cut deep. The common denominator in all these failed relationships isn't everyone else. It's the person sitting in front of the mystic. Boundary violations were discussed. How monitoring has been attempted even after you cut off contact. How mutual friends have been asked about you. How social media has been checked through fake accounts. How spiritual reaching has been attempted without permission. The reader called this out directly. This behavior is invasive. It violates the clear boundary you set when you walked away. It's the reason forward movement can't happen, because an energetic tether still exists through obsession, and that obsession is poisoning everything it touches. The spiritual practitioner explained something profound. You felt this energy trying to reach you. You've had to reinforce your protection multiple times. You've sensed someone refusing to let go. And each time you've felt it, you've strengthened your walls. You've built your boundaries higher. You've sealed your energy tighter. You're not playing games. You're protecting your peace with fierce determination. The mystic described how life has been falling apart, finances crumbling, relationships deteriorating, mental state declining. Everything is collapsing, and the reason isn't understood, but the reader explained it clearly. There was an energetic imbalance when you were together. Your drive was being fed on. Your ambition was being siphoned. Your light was being drained. As long as you were struggling and working yourself to exhaustion, coasting was possible for someone else. But when you left and severed that connection, everything shifted. You started rising because dead weight was no longer being carried. Your energy was finally yours to invest in yourself. Your resources were finally yours to build with. Your time was finally yours to use productively. And as you rose, someone else fell. Because standing alone was never learned, Leaning on you became so comfortable that self-support was forgotten. The spiritual reader made clear this pattern will continue. As you climb higher, someone else will sink lower, not because you're doing anything to them, but because the work necessary to heal and grow is being refused, stuck in victim mentality, stuck in blame, stuck in the past. And that energy is toxic. It's contaminating everything it touches. The mystic started talking about addiction and self-sabotage, about patterns being hidden from everyone, including the person possessing them. Maybe it's gambling, maybe it's substances, maybe it's spending, maybe it's other destructive behaviors never addressed. But the reader saw through the facade. The demons being run from were called out, and something was explained that this person didn't want to hear. When you were present, blame could be directed at you for struggles. Pointing at you as the reason for not getting it together was easy. Making you the scapegoat for failures was convenient. But now that you're gone and thriving, no one is left to blame. The mirror must be faced. The truth that the problem is internal must be confronted. The choices are the problem. The refusal to take responsibility is the problem. The mystic explained that external solutions are being sought for internal issues. Getting you back is thought to fix everything. Reconnecting is believed to restore balance. Your presence is seen as the solution to problems. But it won't work that way, because these problems exist independent of you. Healing requires work being avoided. Growth demands accountability being refused. Transformation necessitates honesty not being embraced. If this message aligned with your purpose, hype this video so fellow chosen ones can find their confirmation. Then came the revelation that made blood run cold. The spiritual reader mentioned legal matters, court proceedings, documentation, things coming to light through official channels, truth being exposed through formal processes, actions taken in darkness being revealed in public forums. The mystic is referring to something specific. Things were done that were thought would stay buried. Lies were told that were assumed would never surface. Manipulations were engaged in that were believed left no trail. But the universe has a way of bringing truth forward. What's done in darkness always comes to light, and past actions are catching up. The reader said you're going to win. Whatever legal matter is unfolding, the outcome is in your favor. Justice is on your side. Truth will vindicate you completely. Evidence is aligning. Documentation is supporting your version of events. Witnesses are corroborating your experience. Everything is falling into place to prove what really happened, and lies are unraveling in real time. Manipulations are being exposed. True character is being revealed to people who matter, and nothing can stop it. The spiritual practitioner said the best option is to accept responsibility and face consequences with whatever dignity can be managed. But acceptance isn't wanted. Denying is preferred. Deflecting continues. Playing victim feels safer, and the mystic warned this approach will only bring more pain. But here's the part of the reading that truly devastated this person. The part preparation was lacking for. The mystic started describing someone new in your life, or someone who's about to enter, someone who is everything your former partner never was, someone who matches your energy, someone who actually deserves you. The spiritual reader called this person your divine counterpart, your real match, someone who operates at your frequency, who supports your growth, who celebrates your success, who protects your energy, who adds to your life instead of draining from it. And listening to this description crushed the person commissioning this reading, because every quality mentioned is something lacking in them. Every characteristic described is something never provided. The mystic explained this divine counterpart is part of your destiny. This meeting was written in your soul contract. This relationship is meant to be because you've both done the inner work. You've both healed your wounds. You've both learned your lessons. You're both ready for this level of connection. And the reader made something brutally clear. The person getting this reading is not your divine counterpart. Never was. A karmic lesson was the role, a teaching tool, a necessary contrast that helped you recognize what real love looks like. The storm that taught you to appreciate peace, the chaos that taught you to value stability, the pain that taught you to recognize joy. The spiritual practitioner said you're not looking back. You're so focused on what's ahead that the past doesn't even cross your mind anymore. There's no residual attachment, no lingering feelings, no unfinished business. You're done, fully and completely done. And that realization is killing the person who paid for this information, because irreplaceability was assumed, that you'd measure everyone against them forever was believed, that some space in your heart would always be held was expected, but none of that is true. You've released this person so completely that not even an echo remains. You've moved on in a way that can't be comprehended, because someone is stuck obsessing over you while you're building an entirely new life without any connection to what was. Then the mystic addressed something that made this person squirm. Gossip, betrayal of confidence, sharing private information, using your vulnerabilities as weapons. The reader described how things you shared in intimate moments were spread to others, how your trust was violated repeatedly, how you were made the subject of conversations you never consented to, and not just with anyone, with people who actively disliked you, with individuals who were jealous of you, with persons who wanted to see you fail. Your private struggles were fed to your enemies and called venting. Your vulnerability was weaponized against you. The spiritual reader explained that you trusted this person with your healing journey, your trauma, your fears, your insecurities, and that sacred trust was betrayed. Information was shared with people who used it to undermine you, to mock you, to hurt you. This person is now being forced to confront how deeply you were violated, how profoundly the safety you thought you had was destroyed. The mystic made clear that you've figured out what happened, you've connected the dots, you understand how information about you reached people who had no business knowing it, you recognize the betrayal. And the reader said this is one of the main reasons your door is permanently closed. You can forgive many things, but you can't forget this level of violation. Trust broken in this way can never be repaired. The spiritual practitioner's tone changed. What's coming for you was described, and this painted a picture of a future so bright, so blessed, so abundant, that processing it was nearly impossible for your former partner. The mystic talked about major opportunities arriving at your door, career advancements that will transform your entire financial situation, recognition for talents that were always there but never properly acknowledged, connections with influential people who will open doors you didn't know existed. Your energy is magnetic right now. You're attracting blessings effortlessly. Opportunities are seeking you out. The right people are finding you. Perfect circumstances are aligning. The reader described a major blessing about to land in your life, something life-changing, something that will elevate you to a completely different level, something that validates everything you've been through, something that proves your struggle had purpose, and it's coming soon. Bigger than you currently imagine, and you deserve every bit of it because of everything you've overcome. The spiritual practitioner explained this blessing has been waiting for you, but it couldn't arrive while you were entangled with your former partner. That energy was blocking it, that presence was preventing it, that influence was delaying it, so the universe orchestrated your separation, not as punishment, but as protection, not as a loss, but as preparation, not as an ending, but as repositioning for what's next. Now that you're free, the blessing can arrive. Now that you've healed, doors can open. Now that you've elevated, opportunities can find you. Your former partner is watching all of this unfold from a distance, seeing evidence of your rise, witnessing your transformation, observing your success, and it's torture. The mystic said this gap will only widen, that you're just getting started, that what's being seen now is nothing compared to what's coming, that your ascension is unstoppable and the chance to be part of it was missed, not because you weren't generous enough to include someone, but because evolution wasn't sufficient to receive what you were offering, something that makes this whole situation even more intense. The spiritual practitioner told this person that multiple readings have been commissioned on you, This wasn't the first time money was paid to spy on your energy. This has been happening repeatedly. A pattern of spiritual surveillance has been built that borders on energetic stalking. The mystic called this out. Questions were asked about why there's repeated returning for information about someone who clearly doesn't want contact, why money keeps being spent to hear about someone who's moved on completely, why such fixation exists on your journey when focus should be on a personal path, and no good answer existed. Because the truth is, addiction to you exists in the unhealthiest way possible. The reader explained that each time one of these readings is commissioned, the energetic cord attempting to be maintained with you is reinforced. Tendrils of energy are sent out attempting to connect with your field, and each time you're cutting those cords, rejecting those attempts, fortifying your boundaries. You're not interested in maintaining any connection, and your energy field reflects that decision absolutely. The spiritual practitioner said something fascinating that reveals just how powerful you've become. When attempting to read your energy directly, resistance was encountered. Like there's a protective shield around you that only allows certain information through. The mystic could see your general trajectory and blessings coming your way, but intimate thoughts or feelings couldn't be accessed. You're protected at a level most people never achieve. This devastated the person even more, because it confirmed what was feared. You're not just physically unavailable, you're spiritually sealed off. There's no backdoor that can be used to reach you, no energetic loophole that can be exploited, no spiritual technique that will give access. You've closed every single entry point, and you did it so thoroughly that even professional readers can't penetrate your defenses. The mystic described this as evidence of profound inner work. Most people who leave relationships still have energetic ties that can be accessed for years, but you've done something different. You've completely severed every connection, released every attachment, healed every wound caused. You're operating as a sovereign being who's reclaimed total authority over your energy field. And here's what really gets your former partner. The spiritual reader explained that this level of protection doesn't come from hatred or bitterness. It comes from profound self-love and respect. You're not protecting yourself from this person because you're afraid. You're protecting your peace because you value it more than any connection to your past. You're guarding your energy because you understand its value. You're maintaining boundaries because you honor yourself. The realization is dawning that this level of strength was never seen when you were together because you hadn't cultivated it yet. You were still learning, still growing, still discovering your power. You were met during your caterpillar phase, and now you're being watched as you fly as a butterfly, and comprehension of how you transformed so completely is impossible for someone who remained stagnant. The reader said something else that shook this person to the core. How you've been doing your own spiritual work was described, how you've been healing intentionally, how you've been working with your own guides and practitioners to clear the damage from that relationship, how you've been actively choosing growth and evolution over stagnation and comfort. While obsession over you has consumed someone, you've been building yourself. While money has been paid to people to tell someone about you, you've been investing in your own development. While someone has been stuck in the past, you've been creating your future. The contrast is stark, and seeing how differently you've handled this separation is killing the person who commissioned this reading. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in, so let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. The mystic explained that when potential futures where reconnection happens were looked at, those timelines simply don't exist. It's not that such futures are unlikely, those possibilities are literally not there. The spiritual reader said this is rare. Usually there are multiple potential futures, some where people reconnect and some where separation continues. But in your case, every single timeline shows you moving forward without your former partner. The universe has made a decision, and that decision is final. This revelation hit like a freight train, because it means there's no hope, no chance, no possibility. The door isn't just closed, it's been removed from the wall. The bridge isn't just burned, it's been completely demolished, and the river has been rerouted. There is no path back to you, because you've eliminated every single route. The reader said acceptance is needed, that fighting against this reality is only causing more suffering, that the universe is trying to redirect attention to a personal path, but resistance continues, that there are lessons needing to be learned and growth needing to be experienced, but none of it can be accessed while fixation on you persists. The spiritual practitioner explained that this divine counterpart has also done the work. Wounds have been healed, lessons have been learned, the past has been released, readiness exists for the level of connection you're now capable of having, and the timing of your meeting is divinely orchestrated because you're both finally ready. The person getting the reading is hearing all of this and dying inside, because what could have been if growth had been chosen over comfort is becoming clear, if healing had been chosen over hiding, if accountability had been chosen over blame. But those choices weren't made, and now watching you connect with someone who did make those choices is happening. The reader described how this divine counterpart will treat you with reverence, with respect, with genuine love. Your success will be celebrated instead of feeling threatened by it. Your dreams will be supported instead of being dismissed. Your energy will be protected instead of being drained. Addition to your life in every way instead of subtraction from it. And the realization is dawning that the opposite of all of that was done. Feeling threatened by your light, dismissing your dreams, draining your energy, subtracting from your life. Everything a partner shouldn't be was embodied, and now hearing about someone who will be everything a partner should be is happening. The spiritual practitioner said something profound, that you meeting your divine counterpart isn't just about romance. It's about you stepping fully into your destiny. This partnership will unlock levels of your potential that couldn't be accessed alone. You'll create together, build together, grow together, impact the world together. This is bigger than just a relationship. It's a divine assignment, and your former partner is not part of that assignment. Never meant to be. The purpose served was as a contrast teacher, and now that lesson is complete. The universe is moving you into the next phase, and there's no room for backward motion. The mystic explained that this is why one life is falling apart while yours is coming together. The universe is actively rearranging circumstances to align you with your destiny and remove obstacles from your path. What's being experienced by your former partner isn't random bad luck. It's divine redirection, it's karmic balancing, it's the natural consequence of choices meeting the universe's plan for your elevation. The reader said that every time energetic reaching for you happens, distance from personal healing is actually increasing. Every reading commissioned about you is money and energy, not being invested in self. Every moment spent obsessing over you is a moment not building a personal future. Self-sabotage with this obsession is literally happening. The spiritual practitioner said that you know this is happening. You've sensed the continued attention, you've felt the energy trying to reach you, and instead of feeling flattered or tempted, you feel annoyed. You see it as further evidence that you made the right choice. Every time you sense that energy reaching for you, it reinforces your decision to keep everything blocked. The mystic said this obsession is actually helping you, because every time you feel that energy and choose to reinforce your boundaries, you're getting stronger. Every time you sense attempts to connect and you shut it down, you're becoming more powerful. The inability to let go is inadvertently helping you cultivate the exact strength and sovereignty you need for what's coming next. The person commissioning this reading is hearing all of this and finally understanding that you've been lost in every possible way. Physically, blocking occurred. Emotionally, release happened. Spiritually, sealing off was completed. Energetically, every cord was severed. There is no dimension of reality where access to you still exists, and that finality is what's truly devastating. The spiritual reader talked about isolation, how your former partner has cut off everyone, how friends have been ghosted, how family has been avoided, how work relationships have deteriorated, and it's all because of refusal to take responsibility for something. The same message keeps coming from different people, different sources, from family, from friends, from colleagues. When talk happens about you or about what happened between you both, the same advice keeps being given, and hearing it is refused. What's wanted is an ego massage. Being told that victim status is deserved is the desire, or being told that working something out is possible. But the spiritual reader wasn't giving that. The mystic was giving truth, hard truth that's being resisted. The reader explained that everyone in this person's life has been telling them to let go. Friends have said it, family has said it, even strangers who barely know the situation have said it. And now a professional spiritual reader has said the same thing. Let go, move on, accept that it's over. Stop monitoring, stop obsessing, stop trying to find ways back into your life, but listening isn't happening. Because letting go means accepting that something valuable was lost, and readiness to face that doesn't exist. So instead, payment continues to people to tell about you. Remote viewing attempts continue on your life. Searching for any scrap of information about what you're doing continues. Addiction to you in the most unhealthy way possible persists. The spiritual practitioner described how watching you succeed while someone continues to struggle is forcing confrontation with uncomfortable truth. You did the work, you faced your demons, you took responsibility, you healed, and now you're reaping the rewards of that commitment to growth. While someone else avoided all of that and now faces the consequences of that avoidance. The mystic talked about cycles, how your former partner has been through many cycles and you are a karmic lesson to them. You may have been like a karmic enforcer of some sort, and it's only now that clarity is dawning about how well you're doing and that you've achieved something within some sort of karmic contract, which is why you're no longer bound to this person. Your energy is no longer bound to this person. Your energy is no longer bound to this person. And the realization of this is hitting. The reader explained that this person sees things very black and white. It can't be a conversation. It has to be a debate. If you're right, then someone else is wrong. And rather than it just being a conversation where learning and growth happen, somebody has to be right. Someone has to be wrong. Someone has to be the winner, and someone has to be the loser. And now this is being seen very much in black and white, that in this situation the loser role is clear, and that's devastating. The spiritual practitioner was honest. This person probably won't do the necessary work. Continuation down this path of obsession and denial is likely. More readings on you will probably be gotten. More attempts to understand what you're doing will probably happen. More hoping for some opening back into your world will probably persist, and that's exactly what will keep stagnation in place, because every ounce of energy spent focused on you is energy not spent on personal healing. Every dollar paid for spiritual readings about you is a dollar not invested in personal growth. Every moment spent thinking about you is a moment not building a personal future. The mystic said something profound. You represent everything your former partner wishes they could be: strong, resilient, authentic, aligned, free. And instead of doing the work to become those things personally, fixation on trying to access those qualities through you persists. But it doesn't work that way. Your light can't be stolen. Your energy can't be absorbed. Growth can't be shortcutted by staying connected to yours. Personal work must be done. A personal path must be walked. Personal demons must be faced. And the devastating truth the reader delivered is that this probably won't happen. Staying stuck in this pattern is likely. Years will probably be wasted obsessing over someone who has completely moved on. Meanwhile, you'll continue rising, keep evolving, stay aligned, remain protected, because chosen one, that's who you've always been, not the diminished version known by your former partner, not the struggling version remembered, not the doubting version that was manipulated, but the powerful, radiant, unstoppable force of nature that you were always meant to be. You are living proof that the other side of pain is power, that the other side of betrayal is blessing, that the other side of loss is gain, that the other side of the ending is the beginning. That you did the work refused by someone else, you faced the mirror being avoided, you took responsibility being deflected, you healed wounds being ignored, and now you're reaping rewards that can only be watched from a distance. Your former partner will continue to hear things about you, continue to see evidence of your success, and it will continue to be devastating, not because you're trying to hurt anyone, but because your very existence at this frequency is a reminder of everything that could have been if different choices had been made. You were had and you were lost, not because you weren't enough, but because readiness for someone like you didn't exist. Preparation to honor someone of your caliber was lacking. Equipment to love someone of your depth wasn't possessed. Evolution to match someone of your frequency wasn't achieved. And now living with that must happen while you live in freedom, while you walk in purpose, while you embody your power, while you fulfill your destiny. This is your time, chosen one, your season, your moment, your ascension, and no amount of spiritual readings commissioned can change that. Your path is set, your purpose is clear, your future is bright, you're protected by forces that can't be understood by those operating at lower frequencies, you're guided by wisdom that can't be accessed by those refusing to do inner work, you're blessed by a universe that recognizes what you've overcome and what you deserve. So let payment for readings continue, let obsession from a distance persist, let watching as you become everything you were always meant to be happen. Because devastation experienced by others isn't your responsibility, healing of others isn't your concern, growth of others isn't your project. You did your part by removing yourself from toxicity, by choosing yourself, by walking away with your head held high. Now your only job is to keep rising, keep shining, keep winning, keep living in the abundance that's your birthright, keep operating at the frequency that attracts miracles. Keep being the powerful, magnetic, unstoppable force of nature you were always meant to be. Payment was made to hear about you, and what was heard devastated the person who paid. Because truth was heard, you're free, you're happy, you're protected, you're blessed, you're ascending, and that person is not part of your story anymore. A closed chapter in a book you've already moved past, a lesson you've already learned, a version of yourself you've already outgrown. Welcome home to your power, chosen one. This is where you were always meant to be, and this is only the beginning of everything magnificent unfolding in your life.